Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Lex Luthor from Denied Reality. This is crazy story breaking just like a half hour ago out of Washington. Amtrak derails. Washington fatalities reported. I guess there's multiple fatalities. We don't know yet. There's too many or something's going on. I'll play this video in a minute because it's actually live. So, DuPont, Washington, an Amtrak train has derailed an overpass in Washington State with at least two train cars falling onto the highway below. Authorities say fatalities and injuries have been reported at this time. All southbound lanes of traffic remain blocked on Interstate 5. The Washington State Department of Transportation tweeted a photo of the derailment, urging motorists to avoid the area. In this picture here, it says all southbound lanes of I-5 blocked near Mounts Road in Pierce County due to derailed train car. Avoid area. CBS News affiliate Kiro TV reports first responders are treating derailment as a mass casualty incident. Authorities have not yet provided details on injuries. Emergency crews on the scene and at the Amtrak management is responding. An Amtrak spokesperson said in a statement, "Some injuries are reported. Service between Seattle and Portland is suspended for all the time being." Amtrak train 501, which departed shortly before 8 a.m. local time from Tacoma, was part of a new service that launched Monday morning. CBS News correspondent Chris Van Cleve reports the train tracks are not owned by Amtrak. They are maintained by a freight railroad. The Cascade service from Seattle to Portland was supposed to be rated for a maximum speed of 79 miles per hour for the section where it derailed in DuPont, according to passenger Chris Carnes. The train was able to carry up to 250 people. Carnes, who was on board the train when it derailed, said at least 7 cars derailed from the tracks. The emergency doors were not functioning correctly, which forced passengers to kick out train windows and exit. That would probably be scary things right there. I've taken the train to Chicago a bunch of times, and that would be really scary. We have just passed the city of DuPont, and it seemed like we were going around a curve, Carnes said. All of a sudden, we felt this rocking and creaking noise, and it felt like we were heading down a hill. The next thing we know, we were being slammed onto the front of our seats. Windows are breaking, we stop, and there's water gushing out of the train. People were screaming. I bet. The tracks for this line were supposed to be upgraded to be able to handle higher speeds, he added. I'm not sure what happened at this juncture. A photo taken by Washington State troopers showed one car of the train smashed upside down on the highway and another hanging off the bridge above it. That looks horrible. The cause of the derailment remains under investigation. Cairo TV reports the sheriff's office confirms fatalities among passengers who traveled on the train. The death toll has not been released at this time. Showing you up close. This is a tweet from Kiro 7 Seattle. An up close photo of the train derailment near Lacey. Sheriff's office confirms fatality. People trapped. 70 people are on board, according to Washington State Department of Transportation. Authorities say 75 people were on board the train when it derailed. Multiple motorists were reported injured on the roadway. However, no fatalities among drivers has been reported at this time. So nobody died on the highway driving as a result of this. But look at that picture, man. That's scary, man. Let's see what this is here. Yeah, like I said before, I travel on a train hundreds of times, and I always had this fear in the back of my mind that something like this could happen. I mean, it always could happen, but
So the incident caused the base to go into lockdown. That was just as a precaution. And now we have another breaking news. What you can see right there is a photo of a train derailment. We're just getting new information about the derailment. You can see several cars are off the tracks right now. Here's what we know so far. Amtrak says that Interstate 5 near Mounts Road and Pierce County in Washington State is where the train derailed. All lanes are blocked for the interstate there. All southbound lanes of the I-5 block near Mounts Road and Pierce County. So we don't know much more than that. We don't know the nature.
Let's go see what's going on live up here. It's still up there, is it? There we go.
Now, in fact, what you're seeing in the video is a triage situation. And if you look, you'll at some point start to see pictures of tents. There'll be red, yellow, and green. Red would be the most critical. Yellow would be, probably broken bones and moderate injuries. And then green are relatively minor injuries or no injury. And so right now it's a triage. It's a rescue operation. We have heard from the police that there are multiple fatalities, that they appear to all be on the train.
Yeah.
We also know that this train struck cars on Interstate 5 as it derailed. So there are injuries there as well.
Yeah, in some of the video, you can see the vehicles on the highway sort of tossed to the side. At least the one car that's closest to the ground, to the highway, looks utterly destroyed. We spoke to a passenger on this train earlier, and he mentioned this once, and I haven't heard this anywhere else. He said that this train was already running about a half hour late when it picked him up at the New Tacoma train station. What can you tell us, Chris, about this train? Because this was its sort of inaugural run.
These trains were fairly new. And while the trains, this was a next generation vehicle, I'm told, according to the Department of Transportation. It would have had some levels of onboard positive train control, at least be capable of it. We don't know if it's active on those tracks yet, although most of the freight rails are not fully compliant there. And that this would have had some additional crash protection. What it wouldn't have had was seatbelts. And that was a big debate after Amtrak 188 was, should there be seatbelts on board trains? Because a lot of the injuries that suffered in Amtrak 188 were due to people getting thrown around and their bags getting thrown around. So, that's perhaps why you're going to see a lot of broken bones and things, is because once those trains left the track, people are getting the interior of that train. So you'll hear that question come up. Would seatbelts make a difference here? And you're going to have, you've got a tremendous amount of force that goes into an accident like this. When a train leaves the tracks, and particularly goes flying down, 10, 15 feet onto the ground, there's going to be some catastrophic injuries, and sadly we have heard that to be the case here. But that'll be a question for the NTSB: is what more could be done here, particularly when you're looking at what is relatively a new train that should be on the high end of crash protection, that should have some of these technologies in place that work in the favor of safety. And that could be why you see so many people gathered in the green and yellow tents in some of this video we've been seeing that have suffered relatively minor injuries, given how catastrophic looking that crash is.
Yeah, it's very true. And I know sort of part of the counter argument is that precisely in a situation like this, if people were sort of stuck in their seatbelts, perhaps they wouldn't be able to get out. When you're hanging upside down or to the side, you might not...
I don't know. That's just a scary, scary scene. Hopefully I'll do a follow-up video, hopefully there's not too many fatalities or anything. I'll get back to you guys later.